We're back with breaking news from Capitol Hill this morning, where Jeffrey Epstein's accountant is testifying before members of the House Oversight Committee. Richard Kahn is appearing for a transcribed deposition as part of that panel's ongoing Epstein probe. The committee subpoenaed Kahn back in January as they seek to learn what he knew about Epstein's activities in the more than a decade he spent managing his finances. Let's bring in MS Now senior Capitol Hill reporter Ali Vitale and MS Now senior legal reporter Lisa Rubin. Ali, in addition to being Epstein's former accountant when he was alive, Kahn is also a co-executor of Epstein's estate, currently one of two people controlling what's left of Epstein's wealth. Victims' lawyers have accused him of gatekeeping key evidence. What questions are we expecting lawmakers to ask today?
Gatekeeping key evidence, also potentially benefiting from any settlement money that's not doled out based on the fact that he would be a beneficiary of what's left of the Epstein estate at that point. But my understanding from sources in the room right now is the deposition is immediately underway. They're pretty on time. We're supposed to start at 10 a.m. Unclear how long this will last. I've heard everywhere from 2 to 5 hours, but there's certainly a lot of questions for him to answer, especially as members come in with a range of topics wanting to seek a better understanding of how money flowed through Epstein's network. There are questions to be asked about the chain of command, how the general processes worked for Epstein on everything from claims of sex trafficking to the way that people were paid off within his orbit. All of that is something that members plan to ask about, both Republicans and Democrats that we've spoken to here. But I also have an understanding that Kahn, in his opening sentence and opening statements, is saying to lawmakers that he didn't know about any of the crimes and wasn't aware of any abuse, also saying that he played no role in setting up the companies. So all of that is happening in near real time, again, giving us a better sense of how he's setting himself up to answer questions from committee members today, Anna.
Lisa, talk to us more about how Kahn might fit into the larger probe that the Oversight Committee is doing.
Well, I think, Anna, one important thing for people to understand is Kahn was never questioned by the FBI, to the best of my knowledge, never talked to by any federal prosecutors. And so this is going to be the first time that anybody conducting a big Epstein-related investigation has an opportunity to talk to someone who was involved in managing Jeffrey Epstein's finances. He was not Jeffrey Epstein's only accountant. There were many of them. And my understanding is he was not involved in the preparation of Epstein's taxes. That having been said, like Ali said, he was intimately familiar with Epstein's accounting, and particularly with the inflow of money from clients like Les Wexner or Leon Black, who paid Jeffrey Epstein $158 million over a series of years for estate planning or tax management strategies. But also, they are much more interested, I think, in what Rich Kahn knew about the money that flowed out, the payments directly to women in his orbit, to doctors, to plastic surgeons, to educational institutions, and what he understood that money was for. I should tell you, though, that we have a statement from a lawyer for the estate on behalf of both Rich Kahn and Darren Endyke, the lawyer who is the co-executor. He has told me, this is from Daniel Weiner, lawyer for the estate, both Mr. Endyke and Mr. Kahn reject as categorically false the suggestion that they knowingly facilitated or assisted Mr. Epstein in his sexual abuse or trafficking of women, or that they were aware of that abuse while they provided professional services for him. Obviously, Mr. Kahn and Mr. Endyke, as co-executors of the estate, managing litigation against the estate, even defendants in that litigation, have learned considerably more about that abuse in the years since Jeffrey Epstein's death. And it's been almost 7 years now, Anna. I expect that members of Congress will have a lot to ask him about in terms of what, not only what they saw and experienced at the time, but what they have discovered after the fact.
It's amazing that the FBI hasn't already done these interviews with people so close to Jeffrey Epstein and, of course, now in charge of his estate. Lisa, I want to turn to some other new reporting you have uncovered related to what's still missing from the Epstein files that the DOJ has posted on its website. What are you learning?
Well, you and I have talked about the indices that are available in the Epstein files production that correspond to prior witness statements given by people in the Department of Justice's 2019 through 21 investigation. Almost 600 people, Anna, were interviewed. One of those people was someone who has accusations against President Trump. We pointed out that 3 interview memos were missing from the production. The Department of Justice has now made those available to the public, and yet there are still statements reflecting witness interviews with women who not only accused Jeffrey Epstein of abuse, but also made accusations against other high-profile associates of Jeffrey Epstein. My reporting last night involves one of those women who experienced years of abuse at Jeffrey Epstein's hands, but also accused Jess Staley, a former Wall Street executive, of sexual assault. She also says that Leon Black, the private equity billionaire, attempted to assault her before she could run out of the room during a massage that Jeffrey Epstein directed her to perform. I should say both Mr. Black and Mr. Staley have steadfastly denied those allegations. MS Now has not independently corroborated them. I think the real import of our reporting is that witness statements that should have been produced by the Department of Justice are still missing, and not just with respect to that woman who accused President Trump, but with respect to lots of witnesses who may have accusations against other high-profile individuals as well.
Is the DOJ answering to this?
We haven't seen a statement from the DOJ yet, and I look forward to what their explanation is. Last week, with respect to those documents missing with the Trump accuser, they said that those were incorrectly coded as duplicative, as were 12 other documents, including some witness interview memos prepared by the FBI. We don't know how they will explain these missing documents. Were they incorrectly coded? Were they withheld for some other reason? I look forward to seeing what the Department of Justice has to say, Anna.